Oh, okay, got it.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess somebody got a little bit got told no.
Actually, they don't.
I was just like, after. No, it happened before that.
Or okay. I don't know.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I think we have a few more seats under the tent if anybody wants to. We don't have to worry about the sun, but if they want to get under the tent. All right. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I'm Peter Zanone, Corpus Christi City Manager, and we're real excited to be here this morning. This is something that has been in the works since Harvey, which is what, anybody awake? 2018 or 2016? I was 2017. I wasn't here at the time, so since that, yes, you're right. But before I get started, let me just cover a couple of small things to include COVID protocols. So it looks like everybody has a face mask, which is good. Keep your face masks on. Even if you've been vaccinated, it's important to wear your face mask. And then try to give yourself some spatial distance between the person next to you. That 6 feet is recommended by the CDC. We are going to have a little bit of a program here this morning, and before we do that, I did want to introduce some of the dignitaries that are here, and beginning with Mayor Paulette Rojardo, who's in the front. Mayor. Okay, keep that face mask on until you speak. And we do have Councilman Molina, who has kind of been the champion of this project, right, Councilman? So the community should be grateful for his steadfast championing of the project, and he's here today right up front. We have Councilman Barrera, who's here as well, supportive of the project. Councilman Martinez is in front, recently joined the council. We're glad he's here. I'm taking a look to see if Councilman Pusley, there we go. Good morning, Councilman. It's kind of hard to tell with all the protocol, you know what I'm saying? But, we do have some other dignitaries here. The Type B board, the city has a sales tax venue board that's managed by a separate group of individuals that are appointed by the city council. They're important because the project includes $5 million from the Type B fund that they approve. So Scott Harris, the board chair, and Alan Wilson are here this morning. And then we did want to recognize our partners. You know, the city is a pretty big organization, and we like getting things done, but we can't do it all on our own. We rely on the private sector, especially when it comes to construction projects. And our design firm is here, Jacobs Engineering, Louis Klesmeyer and John Garcia. There we go. And then the construction contract, J.M. Davidson, who's going to rebuild the pier. J.M. Davidson, we should have Marshall Davidson and James Olivares. Are you all here? Okay. And then we have some staff as well. Jeff Edmonds, our engineering director, Brett Van Hazel, our assistant director, and our park staff. We have Tracy Cantu, Kevin Johnson, and Lisa Oliver. So a big hand for those folks as well. Great, so just a little bit of background on the pier. Then Mayor Rojardo is going to speak, as well Councilman Molina, and then we'll have a little bit of a ceremony down there closer to the pier. So the pier behind me that you can we see it? Yeah. Was constructed in 1971, and it was enjoyed heavily by the community. And one of the phrases that Councilman Molina and I have used is making memories again at the pier, right? A lot of memories were made at that pier from 1971 till its ultimate closure. That pier behind us is actually the second pier. There was one that was built actually in the 1930s that was 3 times as long as the one behind us. The one behind us is about 500 feet. But ultimately that older pier in 1930s was destroyed by a hurricane, and in 1971 it was replaced. So as we know, the pier was heavily damaged by Hurricane Harvey, and that pretty much put the end to the pier, right? It had a pretty good lifespan. Since that time, the city has been working to reconstruct it. And we began first by doing a structural engineer of the existing pier to ask that question for the community from a financial standpoint. Was it better to rebuild entirely or to try to rehabilitate it? And the study that was done in 2018 said that it would be cheaper to demolish what's there and build a brand new pier. And so that's what we progressed to move forward on with the city council direction. And so in 2019, 2020, Jacobs Engineering, who's here this morning, designed a brand new pier to replace this one. Their contract was about a 6-month scope of work, and they designed a pier, and Councilman Molina will talk about this, that included a lot of public input. And so it's not a copy and paste of what's behind us. It's going to look very different. It'll still be the same length, but nonetheless, we used a lot of community input, and we thank Jacobs for designing that. So that took most of 2020 to do that. Today, we're here in 2021, and J.M. Davidson is going to reconstruct the pier. Both those firms were selected through a competitive process that included interviews as well from numerous city staff. Both firms, Jacobs and J.M. Davidson, have expertise in maritime development. That's one of the reasons we highly recommended Jacobs as well as J.M. Davidson. They specialize in doing these types of projects in a water environment, right? We don't think about that much. Most of the times we're building on land. But having expertise in that area was critical, and these two firms that we've used, both for the design and the construction, are going to prove to be worth it because we're going to get a great pier that fits in the conditions that we have today. So the total project budget for the pier construction is $7.5 million. Just so we know, we're making a significant investment in the community right here at Cole Park. The money came, as I mentioned, from the Type B sales tax fund of $5 million. Our community enrichment fund, which is a fee that's paid by developers in lieu of developing a park, $1.25 million. And then our GEO bond program dollars, mostly from 2018, of $1.4 million. So our local sales tax, as you can see, is the biggest funder of this. And that's why we want to have a strong economy. We want people to come here, and we want our own selves to get out there and shop and get that sales tax so we can use it for investment back into our community. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of background. I'll be back up at the end of the program to talk about how we'll do the actual ceremony. But at this point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mayor Paulette Rojardo, who's going to come up and talk a little bit more.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. This is literally a historic day because it's been historic a couple of times before. This pier was originally built as a 500-foot wooden pier. So at one point in time, what we see there was a historic event because it was rebuilt, right? It was originally built in the 30s, as Peter mentioned, but destroyed in 45. And then by 1972, it was rebuilt, but never. And here we are again, rebuilding. But today is very different from what has been rebuilt more than once. And today, it's all the improvements that we've included that is going to make it yet the best pier. And it's going to last, and with the work of some of the people that were mentioned today, hopefully forever. Hopefully forever. Because when we rebuild here, whether it be what we just went through a week ago, or whether it be a pier, we do it better every time. And we do it together. And that's what this is today. So we're so excited to unveil this because this is yet another accomplishment. It is historical for the city of Corpus Christi. Many of us sitting here ran around this very park as children. I know I did. And that pier has always been a part of the memories that we speak of, and that Councilman Molina has always reminded us of why that's one of the most important things, because we remember that pier. So hopefully, 50 years, 100 years from now, there are people still doing and saying and feeling what we are doing today. So thank you all very, very much for being here, especially staff. Our city staff has worked very hard and very diligently on making sure this happens. So I'm very appreciative. I know I speak for the council on all of our parts when I say thank you very, very much. I think I'm introducing Councilman Molina because this is his district. And so this is very important to him. It's important to the whole community, but he has been on this project from day one. So I will go ahead and turn the microphone over to him. And thank you all again for being here. And just remember, this is a true blessing, not only for us, for generations to come. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mayor. So I usually try to open up with a joke, but I've been told I'm not that funny. So I'm going to spare you guys today. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you all for being here. Ben Molina, your friendly neighborhood councilman, and I just want to thank you all so much for being here today. This is, like the mayor said, a historic day for the city of Corpus Christi, and you can tell how important this project is to the people of Corpus Christi just by the amount of people here today. There's so many people represented from so many different parts of our community. So thank you all for being here and celebrating this day with us. So, shortly after the pier was closed in 2018, it was my mission to ensure that the pier was rebuilt for Corpus Christi. I've spoken many times before about how important this pier is, and I don't think that there's anyone here that has lived here long enough that doesn't have a good memory of this pier. And what we're doing today, building this new pier, it's going to ensure that new memories are made for those families that come to enjoy the pier in the future. In May of 2019 and June of 2020, we reached out to residents with a community-wide survey requesting feedback on what they hope to see as part of the Cole Park Pier project. We received over 1,800 responses, and our team took those ideas and implemented them into the Pier and Plaza project. So throughout that community outreach, some of the aspects of this new pier that will be included are the new wider walkway for fishing and visitor access, an observation area with additional seating, a new plaza which will serve as the entrance and tie into the park and pier. And so that's going to include the area that we're all sitting at right now. So in the future, we're going to have a concrete space. It's going to be well lit, and it's going to be a huge benefit for our community. The large plaza will be used for recreation and public events, which will be located right here. And also included, which is very important and I think doesn't get talked about enough, is the additional parking, which is going to be included along the southern edge of the park. There's also going to be 2 new walkways to connect the south and west parking lots to the plaza, and also new lighting improvements, which is going to be a huge deal for us. So again, this is a huge benefit to not just the district, but also to the entire city. This is your pier, and I hope that everyone here come out, enjoy the new pier, enjoy the new amenities, tell your friends and family about it, and let's make new memories together. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to City Manager Peter Zanone. Thank you all for being here.
All right, thank you, both Mayor and Councilman Molina. One thing we didn't touch on, I'll do it right now, is the schedule. So demolition is scheduled to take place this month, right? Today is what, the 24th, so we have 4 more days. Where's is that true, J.M. Davidson? Where are they? Yeah, are we demolishing this month? That's what we're doing.
We'll start demolishing Monday.
Monday, okay. What date is that? The 1st? Okay, we're going to give you the break of last week as an excuse, right? Okay, because it was going to be within this month. So demolition starts Monday, and then construction begins shortly thereafter. And the pier will be done by September of this fall coming up. So this is the last summer that our residents won't get a chance to use it. They'll still be enjoying the park, but this fall and from this point forward, they'll get to enjoy the park through the springs and summers and falls. So that's an aggressive timeline. J.M. Davidson is confident they can do it, and we're confident in them as well. Just one more point on the plaza. I know Councilman Molina talked about it, but if you look around, this is today's plaza for the park, right? And it's not anything to be proud of. We almost didn't want to highlight it just for that reason, but the plaza feature is going to really add another whole amenity to the pier. And so we know people love going on the pier, but the plaza is going to be a pretty substantial area that's going to have a lot of nice design features that Jacob's put in. And so it'll be a separate entertainment venue, if you will, for the park. It's really another big amenity. And in part, that's why that budget is $7.5 million. So we're getting kind of 2 things for one here: a nice pier replacement and a brand new plaza that we really don't have today. That'll be the welcoming point for the pier. Okay. All right, so we're done our remarks for this morning. We're going to move down towards the pier to do the groundbreaking. And we tossed ideas back and forth with staff over the past couple of days of exactly what should we do. Should we were hoping for some dynamite, one of those dynamite sticks, right? But the staff told me, no, we can't do that, Peter. So, but what we do have is the traditional shovels with some sand. And then what we do have to kind of commemorate the demolition is some sledgehammers. We do have some glasses and hard hats. And we'll see how that goes. We'll probably do one person at a time, but there'll be an opportunity for council members or the community, if you want to hit one of the footings of the pier that's up here on the land, We have plenty of sledgehammers and plenty of safety protocols. So we're going to do those two things. So we'll begin with the shovel groundbreaking, and then we'll move over to the sledgehammer. All right. So we want to thank everybody for being here at this point of our program. We're grateful to the council for moving this project forward, the mayor and city council, and we're grateful for the community as well for embracing this project and giving us all that input that they did to design and ultimately build something that they want. So thank you.